You're not really part of this family. That's what Zach told me the first week he moved in. I was 9. He was 15. And that was the moment I realized life as I knew it was over. Looking back now, I should have seen it coming. The warning signs were all there. But when you're a kid, you don't know to look for red flags, especially not when your mom's smiling like she just won the damn lottery. Greg, her new husband, was this shiny suit of a man. Big grin, booming voice, Texas accent so thick you could butter a biscuit with it. He was a successful real estate lawyer. Clean shoes, nice teeth. Always called me kiddo like I was some intern in his office. And then there was Zach, his son 6 years older. Confident, popular, and, spoiler alert, a total asshole. They moved into our house in the suburbs just outside Austin. Mom was all over it. Family photos went up overnight. Dinner was steak instead of spaghetti. And the smell of cinnamon rolls, Zach's favorite, not mine, became the new normal. Except, I wasn't in any of the damn pictures. Not one. It was like someone had quietly deleted me from my own life. At first, I tried to play along. I asked if I could come to Zach's soccer games. Mom would give me that tired half smile and say, "Maybe next time, sweetie. Let him have his moment." Next time never came. Meanwhile, I was watching this whole circus from the sidelines. Literally. I started spending more time in my room, reading books and writing down thoughts I was too scared to say out loud. Mom stopped asking about school. Greg barely noticed I was alive unless I walked in front of the TV. And Zach, he thrived. He walked around like he owned the house. Took over the best bathroom. Blasted music past midnight. And every time I said something, "Don't be so dramatic, Lena. Zach's just being a boy. You should be more respectful. He's older." Respect for what? For making my life hell. One night, he smashed this porcelain rabbit my dad gave me before he left. Said it fell. I was 11, sobbing on the floor, gluing ceramic ears back together while Zach just stood there, arms crossed, watching like it was a damn comedy show. I told Mom. She shrugged. "Maybe you shouldn't leave things out." WTF. My dad, the original ghost in all this, was barely mentioned anymore. It was venom. He drank too much. He ruined everything. You look just like him. That last one stung the most. I started realizing something ugly. Mom saw me as his shadow. Every time she looked at me, I could feel her biting her tongue. Like I was some leftover mistake she couldn't return. I tried harder. I got straight A's. Cleaned the kitchen. Watched cooking shows to try and make things she liked. Nothing worked. Meanwhile, Zach got a full steak dinner just for existing and scoring a B in gym. The worst part, he knew. He knew he was the golden child. And he used it like a weapon. He'd say stuff like, "You'll be out of here the second you turn 18. Or, "Mom only keeps you around out of pity." I hated him. I hated how right he felt. And I hated that deep down. I was starting to believe him. The only real break I got was from Aunt May and her wife, Lily. They weren't blood, they were technically my godparents, but they were the only ones who treated me like I mattered. They'd pick me up some weekends and take me to their cabin outside of Waco. We'd bake cookies that I got to eat, watch old movies, and sit on the porch talking about life like I wasn't just some invisible ghost child. Once, I told Aunt May about Zach and how Mom always chose him. She looked at me and said, "That boy may be loud, but you're solid. You're the quiet kind of strong. Don't let them turn you into someone you're not." I held on to that like a lifeline. I counted down the days until graduation like I was serving a sentence. By senior year, I had a plan. Get out. Stay out. Never look back. Mom didn't help me with college. Never even asked if I was applying. Zach, on the other hand, got a new car and tuition paid in full. Greg bragged about him at every cookout like he was valedictorian. He wasn't. Aunt May and Lily stepped in. Said they'd cover my tuition. No big speech. No guilt. Just, "You deserve better." We've got you. That moment, that was the first time I felt seen. Like maybe just maybe I wasn't crazy for feeling abandoned. College was the first time in my life I felt like I could breathe. I moved into a small off-campus apartment my second year, and it was mine. No screaming matches in the hallway. No Greg muttering about ungrateful teens. No Zach slamming doors. Just me, some secondhand furniture, and a cracked Keurig that always spit coffee on the counter. Heaven. Aunt May and Lily were still there for me emotionally and financially. They checked in every week. Drove 4 hours to visit. Sent me dumb memes and asked about my classes like they actually gave a damn. Because they did. Meanwhile, Mom radio silence unless she needed something. She'd text stuff like, "Do you have your FAFSA done yet? Ben got into UT business, isn't that great?" Sometimes I didn't even answer. Sometimes I did out of guilt and instantly regretted it. Every convo ended with her praising Zach or asking if I could pitch in for something random. One time she called me out of nowhere. And the second I heard her voice, I knew she wanted something. Sure enough, "Hey honey, I was wondering if you could send over $300. Zach's car broke down and we're trying to help him out." Mind you, I was barely scraping by on part-time gigs and ramen noodles. I said no. She acted like I'd just kicked a puppy. "I thought you'd be more responsible by now." Screw that. But that wasn't the worst of it. About a year into college, I started getting weird letters bills from banks I'd never used, statements from a credit card I never opened. At first, I thought it was a scam. Then I checked my credit score. It was wrecked. And get this, the account had been opened under my name, full name, DOB, Social Security number. I panicked. Called the fraud line. Went through a dozen phone trees. Eventually got confirmation from a customer service rep who said, "It looks like the card was opened about 2 years ago from an address in Austin." My mom's address. I felt my stomach drop. I knew immediately who did it. Not my mom, she wasn't tech-savvy enough. Greg, maybe. But no, he had money. It was Zach. Had to be. He was 18 then. Probably needed cash for something dumb and figured, hey, what's the little sister good for if not being used? I wanted to scream. Instead, I filed a police report, froze my credit, and spent months trying to fix the damage. Meanwhile, I got nothing but denial. I called Mom. Why would Zach ever do something like that? Don't be dramatic, Lena. We're family. You're just stressed. Yeah, I was stressed because your golden boy committed identity theft and tanked my financial future. But sure, let's call it drama. Fast forward 2 years. I graduated. Against all odds. I made it. Aunt May and Lily showed up, holding up a sign that said, "Lena the Legend" in glitter. We took photos, went out for Mexican food, laughed until our stomachs hurt. It felt like winning. Guess who didn't show up? Right. No Mom, no Greg, no Zach, just silence. I told myself I didn't care. I told myself I was over it. But when I looked out into the crowd and didn't see them, it still stung. Not because I wanted them there, but because deep down, I knew they never wanted me there. I moved in with Aunt May and Lily for a bit after college. Got a job doing freelance journalism. It didn't pay much, but it gave me purpose. I started building my life slowly, paycheck by paycheck. Saved, budgeted, bought used everything, did my own taxes. And for once, I felt like I had control. Then, last spring, everything flipped again. Zach messaged me out of nowhere on Instagram. I hadn't heard from him in years. I didn't even recognize the username at first. It had some cringy dad joke pun in it. I clicked on it, opened the message. "Hey, I know it's been a while. I hope you're doing okay. Listen, I hate to ask, but we're in a rough spot. Our landlord kicked us out. We've got a little girl now, Adeline. She's 5. We don't have anywhere to go. Could we maybe stay with you for a bit, just till we get back on our feet?" I sat there staring at my phone like it had just spit in my face. Are you serious right now? This man stole my identity, bullied me for years, got everything handed to him, And now he wanted to play the family card. No. Just no. I didn't answer right away. I let the message sit. I wanted to make sure I wasn't being petty or irrational. But the longer I thought about it, the more pissed I got. Then came message number 2. It's not about us, it's about Adeline. She deserves a safe place. Nice touch. Bring the kid into it. Guilt trip unlocked, I replied. Sorry to hear you're struggling. But I'm not comfortable with that, given our history. Simple, polite, firm. He responded within minutes. Wow. So you're really going to hold a grudge over kid stuff? That's messed up. And then, I thought you'd changed. But I guess you're still that cold little brat. There it was. The mask slipped. A week later, I started getting messages from random relatives. Second cousins. An aunt I hadn't talked to since 8th grade. All saying the same thing. Think about Adeline. Don't let a child suffer. We all go through tough times. I ignored them. Then Mom called. She never calls unless something's burning. Why are you being so difficult? Lena, he's your brother. He has a daughter. We don't have the space, or so, and Greg's not well. I cut her off. Funny how you suddenly remember I exist when he needs something. She got quiet. Then I expected better from you. I laughed. Better than what the girl you ignored for half her life. I told her no. Again. Firm. Final. And I hung up. That should have been the end of it. But of course it wasn't. One night, I came home to find my front porch covered in eggs, shells, yolk, broken cartons tossed in the bushes. I checked my security camera. There he was, Zach. Hood up, but unmistakable. Classic Zach, not even smart enough to duck the camera. I filed a police report, again, changed the locks, upgraded the cameras, started sleeping with pepper spray next to my bed. Because that's what family does, right? They harass you when you set boundaries. I didn't respond to any more messages. I didn't answer calls. I went dark on socials for a while. Blocked anyone who tried to manipulate me with, but think of the child crap. Because here's the thing, Zach wasn't reaching out to reconnect. He was circling back because he needed something. Because suddenly, the girl who wasn't worth a second glance had something he wanted: security, space, peace. And I wasn't giving it up. It went quiet for a couple of weeks after the egging. No more calls, no texts, no messages from long-lost relatives guilt-tripping me on behalf of Zach and his sad little sob story. I started to breathe again. It felt like maybe, just maybe, they'd all backed off and realized I wasn't bluffing. But of course they didn't. Last Thursday, I came home from work tired, annoyed, just wanting to microwave some leftovers and binge a dumb reality show, and there he was, Zach, standing in my driveway, like some messed up sitcom reboot that nobody asked for. I nearly reversed the car and drove right back out. But no. I sat there gripping the steering wheel, watching him lean against his car like he had every right to be there. Like this was just a normal sibling drop-in. I got out, slammed the door a little harder than necessary. What the hell are you doing here? He didn't flinch. Didn't even look guilty. Just gave me that smug half smile I'd known since I was a kid. We need to talk. Oh, do we? I crossed my arms. If this is about crashing at my place, I already told you no. So unless you're here to apologize or pay off my ruined credit, we don't need to talk about anything. He laughed. You're still bitter about that, seriously? Bitter about him stealing my identity, trashing my childhood, and now showing up at my house uninvited. Oh yeah, color me freaking bitter. Get off my property, I said. He ignored me, started in on the usual monologue. We've been living in this motel for weeks. Adeline cries every night. I'm doing everything I can. Lena, but I need help. That's when I saw it, the twitch in his jaw, the slight tremble in his voice. Not remorse, not vulnerability, desperation. That's why he was here. Because no one else would take them. Because his golden boy routine had finally run out of stage lights. You need help, I said. Okay, let me help you pack your stuff and leave. His face changed. Just boom. That second, the charm vanished. Anger slid in. You don't get it. You've got this whole house to yourself. And we're out here drowning. You could make this so much easier. Easier. I felt my voice rise before I could stop it. Oh, you want easy. Like how easy it was for you to make my life a nightmare for 10 years. How easy it was to open a credit card in my name and wreck my score before I ever had a chance. How easy it was for you to stand by while Mom turned me into some unwanted background character in my own damn family. He opened his mouth, but I wasn't done. No, Zach. You don't get to guilt me now. You don't get to drag your child in front of you like a shield and pretend you're not the same manipulative piece of shit you've always been. His eyes narrowed. You're heartless. Maybe, but I sleep fine. He didn't say anything for a beat. Just stood there, fists clenched, like he wanted to explode. Then he mumbled something like, "You'll regret this," and got in his car. I stood on the porch and watched him drive away. Heart pounding. Shaking. Not from fear, from rage. From all the years I swallowed it down and let him win. Not anymore. 2 days later, I got a call from work. HR flagged a weird background check issue. Something about a flagged credit line showing up that I thought had already been cleared. Turns out, Zach had tried to open another card recently, using my name again. Only this time, he didn't realize my name was flagged. Or that I had fraud protection alerts set. Or that I had reported his previous actions formally and had a paper trail. This time, the company flagged the activity and contacted the local fraud division. I called the detective I'd spoken to last time and gave them the full story. Again, "You're not the first person who's had repeat identity abuse from a family member," she said. "But you've documented this better than most. We'll look into it." And they did. 4 days later, I got an email Zach was under investigation. Apparently, he'd done it to someone else. To an ex. Classic. That night, Mom called. "Lena, you need to drop this." I could hear it in her voice, the stress, the desperation. The part where she still thought she could control me if she just sounded disappointed enough. "Do you even hear yourself?" I said. "Your son committed fraud." Repeatedly. "You want me to just let that go?" "He has a child," she said. "You're blowing this out of proportion." "No, you blew it out of proportion when you ignored it the first time." She sighed. "Greg's health is getting worse. We can't handle more drama. Just be the bigger person." There it was. The old script. Be the bigger person. I let her finish, then said calmly, "You raised me to disappear. I'm done disappearing." Click. The fallout came fast. Zach got charged. Not jail time, not yet, but he's got court dates and restrictions now. I filed for a no-contact order. It got approved. My extended family imploded. Some doubled down. More messages about how I was tearing the family apart. That I was punishing a child again with Adeline. That I was vindictive. Others, they started quietly messaging me. I didn't know it was that bad. I always thought something was off. I'm sorry for not speaking up back then. I didn't answer most of them. Because where were they when I was 12 and Zach was smashing my stuff and calling me worthless? Where were they when Mom let it happen? Exactly. And then came the house. Aunt May passed last winter. Fast. Painful. Cancer. I was with her at the end. She held my hand and said, "This is your home now. Make it yours." She left it to me. Every room. Every memory. Every piece of peace I'd ever had. Lily moved to Oregon to be closer to her sister. She signed everything over. Said, "May wanted you safe. This place was always meant for you." So, I renovated. Painted. Got rid of the heavy drapes and filled the kitchen with light. Bought second-hand furniture that actually matched. Started a little garden out back. Even though I kill plants like it's a sport, it became mine. No ghosts, no guilt, just me. Then, one night just last week, I got another knock at the door. I didn't want to open it, but curiosity won. It was her, my mom. She looked older, tired. Makeup half done. hair tied back in one of those clips she used to wear when she was yelling about dishes. She didn't even say hello. Just, "Do you really hate us that much?" I blinked. "You mean, do I hate people who abandoned me and then expected me to fix their messes? No. I just finally stopped volunteering." "I miss you," she said, but it sounded hollow, like a line from a movie she didn't believe. "You miss who I used to be, the one who never said no." She started crying, real tears. Probably. But I didn't feel moved. I felt empty. "I did the best I could," she whispered. "No. You did the best you wanted to do, and you chose Zach." "I didn't know," she said. "You chose not to know." And I closed the door. Didn't slam it, didn't scream, just closed it. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like the villain. I felt free. It's weird how quiet feels different when it's finally yours. I used to sit in silence and feel like I was suffocating in it, like every second was just echoing back all the crap I didn't say, all the things I let slide. But now, silence feels earned, like peace, not punishment. After Mom showed up that night, I didn't hear from her again. No follow-up texts, no guilt trip voicemails. She finally got the message. I didn't owe her closure. I gave myself that. About 2 months ago, I started writing again. Nothing dramatic, just little posts on a blog I used to keep back in college. At first, it was journaling. Vents, rambles, random midnight thoughts. Then I wrote about the identity theft. Not naming names, just calling it what it was: family betrayal. The title was simple: When the People Who Raise You Teach You to Disappear. I posted it at 2:17 a.m., barely edited. Didn't think much of it. By morning, it had over 10,000 views. By the end of the week, 250,000. I didn't expect it to go viral. I really didn't. But something about the way I laid it out, the childhood neglect, the credit fraud, the guilt, Olympics, hit a nerve. People commented in droves. Some shared similar stories. Others just said, "Thank you for putting this into words." I read every comment, and for the first time, I didn't feel alone in what happened. A week later, I got an email from a podcast host, big platform. True story confessionals, mostly around family drama, emotional abuse, messy breakups, you name it. She asked if I'd be willing to come on and talk about my post. Anonymously or not, my choice. At first, I hesitated. I didn't want this to become some sob story. But then I thought, screw it. I said yes. The episode dropped 2 weeks later. I used my real first name, but not my last. Told the story straight. No sugarcoating, no big speech. Just what happened. It blew up. People sent in messages, DM'd me. One woman said, "Your story made me call my therapist again after a year of ghosting her." Another said, "I thought I was being dramatic when my family iced me out. I wasn't. You reminded me it's okay to draw the line." It felt surreal. Me, the invisible kid. Suddenly a voice for other invisible people. But not everyone was clapping. Apparently, someone in the extended family found the podcast. And surprise. Surprise, they were pissed. I got a message from my cousin Lauren, one of the quieter ones, warning me that Zach's wife had found the episode and recognized the timeline. She's not happy. She wrote, "They think you made them look bad." I laughed out loud. They didn't need my help for that. Then came the Facebook posts. Not direct, just vague, passive-aggressive crap like, "Some people love rewriting history to make themselves feel better. Family means forgiveness, not fame." The usual. I didn't respond. I didn't owe them energy. But then one night, I got tagged not by name, but by implication in a video. Zach's wife. Crying on camera. Holding their daughter. Talking about how they were abandoned by family during a hard time, and how certain people were profiting off pain. She didn't say my name, but she didn't have to. Anyone who'd heard the podcast could do the math. I watched the video once, then closed the app and poured myself a glass of wine. Let her have her meltdown. Because here's the thing, truth doesn't need backup dancers. And neither do I. A few weeks later, I got an envelope in the mail. No return address, just my name. Inside, a letter. From Zach. It was handwritten, messy, 3 pages long. He said he was sorry. For the credit fraud. for the way he treated me when we were kids, for everything. He said therapy had opened his eyes, that losing everything made him realize how he'd hurt people, and that now he was asking not for money, not for shelter, but for forgiveness. I didn't know what to feel. I wanted to crumple it and toss it in the trash. I also wanted to believe him. But then I remembered something Aunt May once said. An apology is just a bunch of words unless it comes with change. So I waited. I didn't respond. I watched. Zach stopped posting for a while. So did his wife. The noise died down. A few months later, someone told me he got a job again. Working delivery. Not glamorous, but honest. No more messages, no more begging, just silence. Maybe he really was changing. Good for him. But I still didn't write back. Forgiveness isn't a debt I owe him. It's something I'll give if I'm ready. Around that same time, my job picked up. I got promoted to a content editor position for a media outlet that focuses on personal stories and essays, kind of like the stuff I'd been writing. My blog became part of my resume. My viral post included in my portfolio. And the house. It finally started feeling like mine in a real, everyday way. I hosted my first dinner party. Nothing fancy, just me, a few coworkers, and a lasagna that almost burned. We drank wine on the porch and laughed until midnight. Someone asked, "Did you grow up here?" I paused, smiled. No. But it saved me. The thing is, I don't think stories like mine ever really end. It's not like I got some big Hollywood moment where everyone apologized and we hugged it out at Christmas. Real life's messier than that. My mom's still out there. Occasionally likes a photo on Instagram, but never calls. Greg, who knows? I hear he's not doing well. Zach's trying to stay clean. His daughter's growing up. And me. I'm just living. I garden. I journal. I binge crappy dating shows. I walk barefoot in the grass and send my friends memes at 2 a.m. And when people ask about my family, I say this. Sometimes the people who raised you were just the training wheels. And the ride doesn't really begin until you let them go. This spring, something shifted. It wasn't dramatic, no huge moment, no fireworks, just a slow, quiet realization that I was finally okay. I'd spent so long in survival mode, constantly bracing for the next emotional hit, the next guilt trip, the next reminder that I wasn't enough. But suddenly, my days were just mine. I'd wake up, make coffee, water my plants, answer emails, boring, peaceful stuff. And it felt good. I wasn't just existing anymore. I was living. Building things. Choosing who I wanted to be around. Choosing what version of myself I wanted to show up as. And, most importantly, choosing who got access to me and who didn't. Then, one Saturday in April, Lily showed up on my doorstep. I hadn't seen her in months. She moved to Oregon last year, got remarried, living her best hiking and pottery life. We talked, obviously. FaceTime, texts, the occasional meme war. But seeing her in person, that hit different. I opened the door and there she was, holding a giant coffee and a weirdly shaped gift bag. "You got taller," I said. She rolled her eyes. "You just got shorter from sitting in that desk chair all day." We laughed like nothing had changed. She came in, kicked off her shoes, dropped onto my couch like it was still hers. For the first hour, we didn't even talk about the past. Just stupid stuff, her new obsession with air fryers, my neighbor who keeps parking sideways, our shared hatred for overpriced brunches. But eventually, she leaned in and said, "Okay, be honest. Do you regret how it all played out?" I didn't even hesitate. No, not even a little. Not even the podcast stuff, the family fallout. I shook my head. They made their choices. I made mine. She nodded slowly, then reached into the gift bag. "Speaking of choices, Mom wanted me to give you this." My stomach dropped. "What is it?" "A letter. She wrote it after the podcast dropped. Didn't know where to send it." I didn't touch it. "You can burn it," she said, "or read it. Up to you." I took the envelope and shoved it in a drawer. Still haven't read it. Maybe I never will. Because at this point, I'm not looking for apologies. I'm not looking for closure. I am the closure. A few weeks later, I ran into someone at the grocery store. Her name was Rachel. We were in the same English class sophomore year. We weren't close. Just swapped notes and complained about our professor's coffee breath. She stopped me near the cereal aisle. "Hey, Lena, right." I turned. "Yeah, wow. It's been a minute." She looked a little nervous. "So, I hope this isn't weird, but I heard your podcast episode. Here we go. I just wanted to say thank you. I grew up with a Zach too. Different name, same vibe. Listening to you made me feel less crazy. We talked for 15 minutes, right there by the Cheerios, swapping stories, laughing in that tired, I can't believe we survived kind of way. It reminded me that speaking up mattered, not for revenge, not for attention, but for connection. Because for every manipulative sibling or absentee parent, there's someone like us trying to heal, trying to move on. And hell, if my mess can help someone else feel seen, I'll take it. Later that month, I started hosting friend dinners on Sundays. Just a couple people at a time. We'd cook together, eat on the back porch, talk about everything and nothing. One night, my friend Jess, who works in family law, brought a new guy she was dating. Quiet, kind eyes, dressed like he actually knew what starch was. We hit it off instantly. Not in a romantic way, more like he got me. Halfway through dinner, he asked, "So what's your story?" And without even thinking, I said, "Raised by wolves. Survived. Now I garden and write angry essays on the internet." He cracked up. I didn't say anything about Zach, or Mom, or the letters, or the egging, or the podcast. Not because I was hiding it, just because it wasn't the headline anymore. That felt huge. But you know what did surprise me? Zach, again. I hadn't heard from him since the apology letter. He hadn't popped up online. No drive-bys. No more drama. And then, one afternoon, I got an email from a generic Gmail account. It was from him. But it wasn't asking for anything. He just wrote, "I know I don't deserve another chance. I just wanted you to know I'm clean. I've been working. Adeline's in school. We're okay. I messed up a lot, but I'm trying not to mess this part up." Yeah. No begging, no blame. Just that. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I closed the tab. Because look, I don't hate him. I don't wish him pain. But healing doesn't always mean reunion. Sometimes it means drawing a line and keeping it. And I've worked too damn hard to let guilt pull me back into a life I crawled my way out of. This past weekend, I sat in the backyard with a glass of wine and a playlist of sad girl anthems. Sun was setting, breeze was perfect, and my dumb tomato plants were somehow not dead. I thought about the girl I used to be. The one who tiptoed through her own house. The one who begged for crumbs of affection. The one who thought maybe, just maybe, if she was quiet enough and good enough and small enough, they'd finally love her properly. I wanted to go back in time and hug her. Tell her you're not broken. You're not too much. They were just never capable of seeing you. And now, I see myself, all of me. The anger, the softness, the sarcasm, the hurt. I'm still working on stuff. Still flinch when I hear certain phrases. Still delete emails without reading them because I'm not ready. But I'm not hiding anymore. Not shrinking. Not begging. I'm just me. And honestly, that's more than enough.